There's a ton of misinformation about XRP. Now, some of that is hopium, that the price will magically be some incredibly high price one day. Some of that is news hype. Brad Garlickhouse said this, or the SEC said that. There are a few of us out there who are just trying to keep it real. That's exactly where the 786 assassins step in to help everybody out. Let's get into it. 786 assassins. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Carolina Keith. This is 786 Assassins Network on TA with Keith Lay. We like to give you guys update videos on a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I picked XRP today because I see a lot of information flying around on the internet that I don't exactly think is correct. And I like to give an explanation of why I think that. You're not going to see any hopium on this. I hate to break everyone's heart on that one. Sorry. But I want to keep it real with you and show you exactly what I've got. To show you why a lot of that information is misguided and what happens when that misguided information gets spread and the downfalls of that. So without further ado, let's get into the charts. All right, so first disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. Same old that all us YouTubers say, right? Well, I'm actually trying to become a financial advisor. I'll get there one day. However, the next piece of advice is, I want you to understand I don't own any XRP right now. I may buy some in the future when the time is right. I don't think right now the time is right. But this was the first ever crypto that I ever bought. This is what got me into the crypto space. And I'll kind of explain my mistakes as I went along the way here. I'm going to try to keep this video under 10 minutes though. However, what you see here is the entire crypto history for XRP. And this goes all the way back to August of 2013, right? It's very clear cut that we have cycles here that are playing out one at a time. And I want to explain those cycles to you, but that's best explained on TradingView. This is CoinTrader. I just wanted to show you a nice blank chart here to start off with. All right, so here we have the entire chart, same thing we just looked at, only on this one I'm going to be using the poloniex chart. Let me drop my camera out so we can see only the full screen here. There we go. So this is the poloniex chart, and I don't typically use the poloniex chart to chart every day, but I want to have a clean look, and I use Bitstamp or different exchanges like KuCoin, the one I'm actually going to buy and sell on, to actually do my buying and selling and figure out exactly where the price is that I want. But I wanted to show you this to start off with. So this is all the way back to 2013. This one doesn't quite go back that far, it's 2014, but nonetheless, you see what we have here is a distinct trend. I've got the trend line marked out with the trend line right here. Starting back way in 2014, we had highs, and then we started getting lows and lower highs and lower lows and lower highs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the way during this bear market. All right. This white line right here represents the bear market. All right. As this played out and over time, eventually we broke this trend line back here, which was shortly after this green line that you see right here, this vertical line, which is our previous halving. This halving took place in July of 2016. All right. Before that, you see I have this peak marked out in 2014, and I have this red line here. Well, this red line represents in between the peak and the next halving. And the white line you see represents the peak in between those two. Now, this is typically going to be in the summer. I've got this on here, and this is referencing BTC's halvings. But I want you to see what I'm showing you here, nonetheless, that typically in between the red line, which is the midway mark of the bear market, and the halving cycle, which is the green line, that we have a midway point. All right, that's what I'm just trying to show you. Summer peak is what I'm going to call that. So after halving, you see we broke trend here. Then we danced around on top of the trend line rather than being under the trend line. So over here is where we should have been looking to buy. All of this from here to here was useless to buy. Why was that? Well, during this we were already in, and we would have sold somewhere over here where the bear market started. So actually the line is a little more like this from here to here. Was no point in buying any of this. This was all sideways. There was no money to be made. The smarter play here during this entire time from the blue line to the green line was to simply buy stable coins and prepare to buy this asset. Instead of just trying to buy constantly every day and your price constantly going up or down, you just wait till you get to the end. Then you maintain liquidity, you maintain money in your pocket, right? You maintain the ability to buy anything else that may look better or worse than this. You maybe say you want to buy something else, you can. Here was an opportunity to take advantage of that by waiting this entire time. Jumped over a little bit here so you can see what I'm going to show you next. This thing rode around on top of this trend. I could show you some indicators here to show you exactly when the right time to buy and sell was. That's not the point of what I'm trying to show you. The point of what I'm trying to show you is how this cycle plays out and how we know what's coming next. So shortly after this move up, we have this purple line, and I've got it labeled as half bull run. And why do I do that? Well, it's halfway in between the halving and the next bull cycle peak, right? So in between that, green to blue, right? In between there, halfway through, is this purple dash line that I have. This purple dash line shows us that we were halfway done and we should be preparing at some point to stop. Here is our peak in 2018. I entered crypto in September of 2018 at 28 cents. Honestly, y'all, I thought I was going to be a millionaire because that's what everyone told me. Every YouTube channel I looked up said we were all going to be millionaires. We were all going to be rich beyond our wildest dreams because this is the greatest asset ever created. This is the most amazing thing ever in the history of the world. And then I found out the dark, harsh realities that wasn't true. Right? I found out most of those people are all hyping up what they've already bought, hoping that you buy it, hoping that their asset goes up in value because most of them bought right around that blue line you see on the left right there. All of that conjecture is simply BS to try to get you to buy what they have in hopes that the price goes up. I'm sorry, folks, that's just not what I do. So let's keep looking at the cycle, shall we? All right, I've got this tightened up a little bit here, and I'm going to show you this overall bear market that we have from 2018 to 2020. I've got it drawn out with a trend line here. Let me move my camera off. But no matter how you draw this was a big bear market the entire time, whether I start back here or if I pull this down to here and say that this was the bear market and it goes up a little something like that. Nonetheless, underneath the entire time, once this peak happened and topped out, once that was it, that was done, no more needed. So from here on out, I was able to see the timeline a little bit better. Blue line peak, here's our next halving, which we had in April of 2020. We just had this awesome bull market that we went through. We're able to make some good money. Halfway in between, midway bear, just like I had back here, midway bear, okay? Summer peak that I was talking about, June 19, just so happens to be when this played out. All right, it managed to stay under the trend, never really broke. This thing came all the way over here to February 20, failed, rolled over, and eventually quit until we got to our halving. Once we had our halving, just like down here, we were underneath the trend line after halving, and then we broke north. Just like here, underneath the trend, then we broke north. From this point, we were looking for a buy-in. Okay, right around inside this yellow circle, we bought. When this ride-up happened, we rode it, and then we sold it. It was very straightforward and very simple. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you from this point on that everything that happened was the government's fault. Everything that happened, SEC, this, that, and the other, all government's fault. And I'll say, I don't care about any of that. I don't. I really don't. We bought and sold based on the chart, and we made great money in the process. All that matters was the buying and selling that was on the chart. None of the other stuff, all the other conjecture, all the other noise was completely and utterly useless. And I'll go into a little bit more detail on why now. All right, so I've tightened it up a little bit more here. Let me bump the camera off. So depending on how we draw this, we have an uptrend right here that happened all the way to the top of this bull market. If we draw a simple trend line, we can kind of see this, okay? And we'll tighten it up a little bit here so it's a little bit easier to see. But SEC news happened right around this point right here, and everyone blames this big fall on that. I don't blame that on that at all. I look at this and say, yeah, it looks mostly like we topped out and hit the top of a trend line and then rolled over and failed and then did it again. Much like this back here, where we went up and then sideways and up and then sideways and then up. We did the same thing here. Up, then sideways, then up, then sideways, then up, until we got to our peak and we stopped. Furthermore, we happened to do a perfect 786 retracement on the overall trend. And here I'll show you that. This thing went absolutely perfectly to 786 and stopped dead nuts on the money. Wonder why you're listening to the 786 Assassins Network. I wonder why the 786 Assassins knew this kind of stuff. Well, here's the answer, folks. We already knew this was coming. We were already planning for it. I had limit orders set. They closed, and I took my profits. It worked out amazing. I'm hoping that by watching this that you'll understand that you need to do the same thing in order to maximize your gains and losses. This entire bear market, after this point, I didn't buy any more XRP, and there was a damn good reason. Let's get into that now. Hey, if you haven't done so real quick, 786unlimited.com is our website. It's got our Discord with our special on it. Launchpass /786 Assassins /half off. Why do I show you this? Well, it's only $8 a month to come do this and figure out all this before this ever happens. Want to find the best possible place to get in? The best possible place to sell? That's what we do for a specialty, man. That's how we rock and roll, all right? We chart, we do TA, we do no hopium 24/7. See you over there. All right, now we're all the way to our current time. So right now you see the blue line I've got marked out as the peak. Why did I mark it in that area? Well, that was the peak of the entire crypto space, not just XRP, but the entire crypto space peaked out in the fall of 2021. I think we can all agree on that and kind of go around and look that some went up a little longer, some went up a little shorter, some went before, some went after, but all around this area was the time when everything slowed up and stopped. So using this and then drawing another trend line, sure enough, touch, 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 no breaks. Just like historically we've done over and over again. Midway bear market, see the red line? Midway bear market, red line. Shortly after we went up and hit the trend line. Red line market, red line, midway bear market. We go up and hit the trend line. Exactly the same. The scale is a little different from here to there. Not the point. Exactly the same, darn near every time. So what can we assess from this point? So far, we can assess that we've had multiple bear markets, 3 so far. We've seen that it broke out 2 different times. One time was a very large breakout. The second one, not so much. So using this, what can we tell is going to happen next? Well, let's dial it in a little bit more now. All right, sweet. I've switched over to XRP USD Bitstamp instead of poloniex for the next example. I have bars drawn right here to show you timeline and distance between certain points here. Let me dial it in just a bit. There you go. I have them drawn out for distance between certain points, okay? 400 days from the kind of the runoff to where we are at the moment. And the same situation back here where we are now. 400 days from the runoff to where we are now, roughly, okay? That's just being rough. I'm not being perfect with this. You see the vertical green line that I've drawn, which was right about the same time, 2019, middle of the bear market like we are now. And right here, pretty much the darn same, okay? Almost exactly the same day. And I want to throw a disclaimer in here. This is going to be close, not perfect, all right? We're trying to get within a couple weeks of perfect. Honestly, I think if we get into within a week and a half or so, that's ideal. Anytime between a week and a half is the perfect time to have enough time to buy, enough time to prepare, and enough time to sell. Same way in reverse. So I want to make sure we have that kind of clear. What I can deduce from here is from this point last time, we managed to run up, make a move through the summer, and eventually flare out. We haven't necessarily completed everything that I want to see right here with this little move down. I think there may be a little bit more of that left in here before we finish off this low here that we're making currently. From there, I think we're going to get that summer move up that I was talking about. And I hope for a potential trend line break here and for this thing to sit on top and make a run up for the summer. And I think somewhere in the range of, you know, right through here somewhere. Let me draw you a line so you can see that a bit better. Somewhere through this range makes sense for this thing to hit again around 57 cents. In between 45 to 60 cents, I think is probably the sweet spot there for the summer. where I think things will eventually stop and slow up and roll over, just as you saw happen back here. You've seen it slow up and roll over and start to trend back down more and more and more. And I think you may see that happen back here, where it rolls over and trends down more and more. The curious part is, does it hold this big white line right here? Which I think is fully possible, but not a guarantee, okay? As I said, this one is a little cleaner than this one was back in the day. So we'll see how this plays out in the long run, but I think we'll come back down somewhere around where we are now to 30 cents by the end of 2023 going into 2024. Now that leads me back to the XRP USD poloniex chart. This kind of tells me that, hey, look, halving is not until April or so, 2024. Look how much room we've got until the actual bull market starts. What we've got right now is just an upward retrace. It's not the actual bull market, folks. This is only the precursor for the rest of the year. I think we peak out in the summer, and then once we peak out in the summer, we're going to have a rollover period here that lasts quite a while before we actually get to the real bull market and the real halving. So how does that play out? Like I said, I think we're going to peak out somewhere around here in the summer. It depends. Somewhere in these areas here are solid targets to look at and say, yeah, that's where we're going to stop. From there, we start to pull back down. We're going to either come back to the level we're at now, or if things get really bad, we could see that bottoming out that we saw over in 2019. And by the way, this was before anything bad ever happened as far as the SEC. This was blamed on COVID. You could blame everything on everything. I don't really care about the why. I care more about the when and the how. Okay? We know where, we know how. That's us. When? Well, we know when. As we can see, somewhere in between the summer of this year and halving of next year is our perfect opportunity to buy. Anywhere in this range here is exactly where I'm looking to try to find the best possible price. From there, where do we bottom out at? And that's where I can get our potential top end on where I think we'll stop. If I grab where the bear market started right here on November, and I pull a fib, just like I did back there on that previous one, I can see that, you know, we might run out till June here. And then once we run out till June, we have a potential to get back up toward 99 cents or $1 in the next bull market. If I pull this line back to here, the all-time peak, which I don't necessarily think is 100% accurate, this comes out to April or May. We're going to see how this plays out. And again, I'm not sold on this. All right. I think we may have some more lower price action to come. It really just depends. But again, that leads us out to around $1.30 to $1.50. And on the top end, $3, $4, $6 max. Did you hear me? $3, $4, $5 to $6 max the next bull market. That's a non-hopium, non-BS, straight facts only answer. Now, that's not a guarantee. If we go higher than that, I'm happy to see it. But these hopes and dreams of $589 and $10,000 and all that, you've been lied to, folks. I'm sorry. I don't want that to happen, but it's just the truth. Now, I hope everyone can understand that I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be a hater or anything like that. It's simply facts. I'm simply trying to show you the best possible layout here for the best possible non-hopium answer that I can give you, all right? Thank you all for watching. I have this video shoot out soon. See you guys on the next one. I have another video coming out Wednesday and Friday. 3 videos as usual, plus our normal live streams on Thursday. See you guys on the next one. I'll leave you with this. You could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with me. I appreciate that. Sky's the limit. Peace.